I do really believe 100% from every part of me that everyone has the capacity to be able to do the things that they want and not to be held back by the mental baggage that's in our head that we want to push through.
Welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. In each episode, we get down and personal with people who go after the things they want to make all their wildest dreams come true. Join us as we unveil and dissect a formula for what it takes to do the thing. Here is your host, Stacy Lauren.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. This is Stacy Lauren. I'm so glad you guys are here today. You get to meet our next guest. She is someone that I met through, actually, one of my kids was interested in doing something with the environment. And years ago, I had Googled, and I think I ended up finding on Eventbrite that she does a monthly cleanup event for the neighborhood next to where we lived at the time. And from the time that we showed up at the event, where people basically are being given everything they need to be able to clean up the streets of a neighborhood, I was just blown away by how warm she is, what an amazing community she's built within the community, being able to just give so much, both of herself and also back to the people that live there. It's just been really marvelous getting a chance to get to know her and get to see the work that she does. And so I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Tomasa. Hey, Tomasa.
Hi. How are you?
I am doing great.
Good. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for inviting me to your program. Hi, everybody. My name is Tomasa Velediaz, and I am from Mexico. I came to this country in 1984 when I was only 15 years old. I live in this community of Linda Vista for about 37 years. 5 years ago, I started with another group of community members. We decided to start doing clean up the streets because we want to teach our kids the importance of have a clean community. So we started with this beautiful idea since 5 years ago, and we're still doing it once a month, the first Sunday of each month.
It's unbelievable because it's like such a great way for you to be able to get people together. It's like, doesn't even feel like work when you're getting a chance to do it, because everyone's getting to talk, clean up the streets and just have that feeling of being able to, give back and do something that's productive, for not only the environment, but for the neighborhood too.
Yeah, it's something that I really enjoy doing it. And to see this little one, every time they see me, they always ask me, when are we going to clean up the streets? So that's what made me really motivate to continue with this beautiful work. Well, it's voluntarily, but I feel like I think we can make the difference if we continue doing this and involving the little one.
Yeah. And so to me, this is just the ultimate kind of expression of doing the thing, is you just basically taking this idea, because a lot of people have ideas like this, or they're either complaining about something, or they have the idea to do it. But the fact that you actually did it and you're still doing it, to me is just amazing. So I was just wondering if you could talk more about the process of when you got started, because I think you mentioned it started 5 years ago when you were wanting to do something to show the kids a way to be able to impact the environment. What actually got you to decide to actually get it done? And then what were your steps that you took to be able to do the thing?
Okay, we was a group that was, by then, was really motivated by a religion belief. I don't know, have you ever heard about the Baha'i family? They used to have a youth program with the little ones and kids. So one day the parents come together and we have this idea. Why don't we start doing something, something like we can teach a lesson to the kids. I said, why don't we clean the streets? By then we was like 10 people. The leader who was by then in this group, she moved to another state and she asked, who wants to continue with this? And I said, yes. Then the rest of the group was, always they have something to do. They have to work. They have their kids. They need to go to church. So one day we went to do the cleanup and was only 3 people with me. And the lady said, why don't we stop doing this? Because we don't feel like people are interested on continue doing this work. And I said, no, don't give up. Even 1 person can make the difference. Let's continue. Maybe next month it's going to be more people join our group. And yeah, and that happened. So, but the time that, it's been 5 years. Sometimes we have 40, 50. One day we have 82 people come together. I think it's when you are doing something, you don't have to give up. And I think that's what keeps us over here till now. Don't give up. Continue with something that you really like it. And it doesn't matter if it's only 1 or 2 people. Continue. That really gonna make the difference.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I really love about it is through the times that I've gone, you're right. Sometimes when I've gone, it's been just like 4 people. Another time, I know you had a congresswoman there one time. There was another time where you had all the different people from the community. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was like, I think even a fire marshal, like there was just all kinds of people that you had gathered throughout it. And I think it's amazing because regardless whether it's like 3 people or whether it's like you said, like 80 people, you still give the same amount of yourself. Like I feel it. And I feel like that community is still so solid and strong. And the fact that you do it regardless of the amount of people is just really, really amazing to me.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we have to keep doing it and don't give up. Don't give up, especially if it's something that you really like it. And doesn't matter if it's only 2, 3 people. Continue with that work. Yeah, one day we invite our council member, Raul Cantillo. He came with his staff. Sir Jacob came one. Another, the union carpenters, something like that. The union carpenters came to help us once too. We've been having a lot of people are interested in joining our group, and that's really nice, I think that's what motivates me to continue with this beautiful work. Like sometimes can be 10, can be 40, 50, 2, 3 people,
Yeah. And how have you been spreading the word? Like, how is it getting the exposure it's getting on the times that you are having all the people show up?
I have a lot of contact with like USD University that we have here in Linda Vista. We have contact with Mesa College, with Kearney High School. We have all these contacts. So sometimes they ask me that they have volunteers. They want to join our group. And I say, sure, they're welcome. And that's how we spread the word.
So in the times when you only had a couple people go and the people were saying, oh, maybe you shouldn't do it anymore because there's just not enough interest in it. How did you keep yourself motivated during that time?
Because I feel like even if it's only 1 person or 2, we can make the difference. And the thing is not don't give up. Maybe next month we're going to have more than this time, but doesn't matter. Let's continue doing it. I know like sometimes it's holiday, a lot of people travel and, it's normal. They have a life too. And I think next month it's going to be better. Every month it's going to be better. And it is, every month is different.
And then in regards to like, as I was getting started 5 years ago, how did you kind of like work through all those details so that you could get it started?
Well, first we started with nothing, with empty hands. But little by little, I got connected with the counties, and they provide us with those yellow bags and those trash. How do you call those trash pickers?
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to, by the time I was only volunteer at Bayside Community Center, And I asked them for support too. We need trash bags to continue with this work, And they say, sure. What else do you need? I said, okay, we need gloves and trash bags. And they provide me with all that stuff. And yeah, that's how we started with this group.
And then how did you come up with the idea to call the county? I don't know if that's a obvious choice for people. It's just I'm just going to call the county. I think people would be like, whoa, that seems like really hard. Who am I going to talk to? I just feel like all these negatives would come up.
I think that's the good thing to know people. I have somebody, I know I have that connection that somebody who works at the county. And she said, I can give you the contact from this person. You can contact this person. So I did and worked, I think that's really important to meet important people because you never know when you're going to need them.
So we haven't really had a chance to talk about this yet, but so this podcast is actually coming from a book called Do the Thing. And one of the reasons why I started the podcast is because I really wanted to interview people that are doing the thing and come up with a formula. In addition to how I do the thing, I wanted to see how others do the thing. And so as you're talking, I'm realizing a big piece of your formula, which is something I do a lot, is asking for help, and not being afraid to ask people. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. That's something that I really like. I'm not afraid to ask for support or help. I don't lose anything, you don't lose anything to ask. That's what I think that if you don't ask, nobody's going to know what do you need.
Yeah. So do you think that that's like a normal thing that you do? It's almost like your risk assessment is almost like what's the worst thing that's going to happen, as I ask them and they say no? Or is there something that you do when you're making these moves and asking for help or whatever you do to do the thing that you think about?
Well, you have to give an explanation. What things are you doing and why are you need this, And I'm not afraid if they say no, that's fine. Let's go to the next door.
Yeah. So you're comfortable handling rejection then?
Yes. Yes.
Where did that come from? Is that something you were born with, or is that something that you learned over time?
Probably something that I learned with the time. When I was little, I grew up in a country where we are a big family. I am the third child of 14 kids. Sometimes we have to beg for food. And so maybe that's what I learned since little. Not to be afraid or, shame to ask.
I'm just imagining how hard that must have been for you.
Yeah. That was really hard.
What was it like for you when you had to beg for food?
That was really embarrassed because I was little at that time. But at the same time, I feel like I need to do it because it's not only for me. I was doing it for my little siblings too.
Yeah. So you were able to kind of understand who you were doing it for. And so it helped you get through it in a way.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I feel like this is such an important piece in how you're doing the thing now, is for you to be able to go through that when you were younger, and even though it had to be hard when you were doing it, it's the thing that's made you be able to help so many people now. At least I'm imagining this is a big part of it.
Yeah, I feel like that made me a stronger person. I feel like thanks to all the things that I went through, made me the person who I am now, that I'm not afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, that must have really helped you get through handling rejection, which is probably true. But you're right. That idea of asking for help, which is kind of a big part of you doing the thing, also stemmed from that too.
Yeah.
What did you say to yourself when you were I'm imagining people were saying no, when you're asking for food. What did you say to yourself, in the face of rejection?
When I was little, I was saying, when I grew up, I'm going to work hard to support my family. That way we don't have to go through all this again. And that's why that made me come to this country so young age. I was only 15 years old when I moved here because I was looking for a better life for myself and for my siblings. So when I came here, they asked me that I need to go to school because I was only 15 years old. And I said, no, I'm not going to school. I came here to work because I need to pay my rent. I need to buy my food. I need to support my parents. And that's the only way I can do it, working. And I didn't know, but the time it was illegal to work at that age. I didn't know that. I learned with the time.
I think it's really unbelievable, how you were able to use such a powerful experience. And then now you're doing so much good, from the things that you learned then.
Yeah.
I was wondering, so out of all of the pain that you had to go through, how did it help you, or like what good do you see from it now?
Well, I feel like thanks to all those things I went through made me the person who I am right now, that is not afraid of asking for help. I'm not afraid of trying to work hard, and I don't know, I have that in my heart. Like, if somebody needs help, I always wanted to help them because of all the things that I went through when I was little.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Okay, Tomasa, I think I've got more pieces of your formula. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about asking for help. That's a big one. Number 2 is, this has actually come up before with another person, and it's your network. Being able to utilize your network is also really important for doing the thing. And then handling rejection is your 3rd piece. And then your 4th piece sounds like with this particularly, you had a why for wanting to do this. You had an intention, for wanting to make this happen. And it sounds like that's what kind of kept you going, even if there's only 3 people, is like knowing what you wanted and why you wanted it. Do you think I'm missing anything from what you like in terms of you doing the thing? Is there anything else that you think you've relied on to be able to do the thing?
Well, to my friends, to my neighborhood, to the people who believe in me, and they are always willing to support me. Really, that's what really keeps me going.
Yeah. So actually, that is another piece that's come up, is surrounding yourself with people that, one is like-minded, but also it sounds like support and encourage you.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people want to do something, but they don't know how. So I really encourage people to do whatever they want and whatever they feel like it's important for them.
Yeah. So if you were going to give someone advice that says they want to do something, regardless of what it is, what advice would you give them?
Well, not to give up, to follow their dreams. If it's not working, don't give up. Don't give up. Never give up.
As far as, it's like, I know this is just one piece of, who you are and what you do. There's so much more to you. I know when my company, when we were giving away fruits and vegetables and things, and I texted you to see if you had anyone you wanted to give them to, and immediately you came by, you got a carload. So I'm thinking this is just kind of like a natural thing that you're always doing. Is that right?
Yes, I love to be able to help my community, long time ago, like maybe 15 years ago, this lady from Hawaii who lived here in Linda Vista, she was giving away bread. I remember went to pick it up bread next to your office, and she gave it away to people, the bread. So one day I was outside and she saw me. She asked me if I want bread. And I said, sure. And then she was so tired. She said, I'm so tired. I want to go home. And I asked her, why don't you give me the bread and I give it away? Then you can go home. So we did it for like 2 years. And the next week, she brought me like the whole truck of bread to my house. I have to call people coming over. There's free bread. If I have bread left, I put them in a shopping cart, drive on the street, and I give it away, the bread to people. That's something that I really love. So when you mentioned that you have fruit at your office, I said, oh my God. Yes, I want to do it. I want to distribute that to my community. And I did it.
Yeah. And I find that amazing because, even when I'm thinking about my company and whenever we do have the fruit, we'll bring it to we would bring it to the shelters and different transitional programs. And obviously people in our office and our employees that were out in the field and our clients and all that stuff. But I think you might have been the only one. There might have been another that I don't know about. So I'm not going to completely say this is true, but yeah, like anyone that actually yes. And then within days, just able to then it was not in a reactive way. It was in a proactive way that you actively were able to distribute it. And that's what I find so unbelievable, is literally doing the thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's one of my passions, to be able to help people. So since now I am working in a non-profit organization, I'm so happy, they make my life much better because I am able to help people now, even more than before.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So when you got the fruit and the vegetables or the bread or whichever one it was, what was your strategy? Are you coming up with a plan, or does it innately coming up with you on who you're going to call? What does that look like for you?
Well, I make a list of people. I get their numbers. And when I get the fruit and the bread, I make phone calls. And if I didn't have enough phone numbers, I put them in shopping carts and drive on the street, or put them in my car and go far away and give the bread away. People look to me like, why is she giving this for free? And they ask me, why are you doing this? I said, because I want it, because somebody gave it to me and I want to give it away. So sometimes people look at me like, why? That's way too nice to be true.
Yeah. I know. It's so amazing. I mean, cause you have such a giving heart and you can feel it when you're in your presence. So yeah, it's I'm sure it's surprising for people that haven't met you yet to know.
Yeah.
You. When you're doing something like that, because obviously there's probably people, that are untrusting. So they're saying no, I'm assuming. How do you keep yourself motivated with that? So if you're giving it out and there's a certain amount of people saying no, and you're like, dude, I'm doing this for you, kind of thing. How do you get yourself through that stuff? What powers you?
Well, I'm not taking personal when they say no. I don't take them personal. I said, okay, you don't want it. Maybe next door, somebody will want them. Yeah, not taking so personal. If somebody say no, that's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. Yeah. So, but a lot of the people know me, and see, when they need to talk to somebody, they come to me, and that made me feel special. That a lot of people that I know, when they need help or at least somebody can listen to them, they come to me. And I feel like maybe because they trust me and they can trust me because I won't tell other people, I think it's something like I can keep it for me.
Yeah, I know that makes sense. Yeah, for people to be able to just really feel, like you're able to be that person that they can confide in. I mean, I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah. And I have this thing like I can feel or see like somebody has problems. That happened to me many times when my kids went to elementary. I see people that they are not my friends, but I can see like they go into something really bad. So I talked to them, I approached them and I said, are you okay? I see like you have something. And they start crying. They say, yes, okay, come over here. Let's talk. And since then they became my friends.
Yeah, it's amazing because there's so little people, like so few people will do that. And I love that you're not only, giving of your time, giving of your abilities, but then also just in friendship too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just making me think too. I remember when I met you initially, and it is funny when we met, I don't know if you remember, I was going through a hard time. I was just getting divorced at that time and you were the bright light in my day. So I think when hearing you talking, it's just bringing back how I felt when I was at a really low point, just even us cleaning up trash together. Like it was just, it was really a needed experience that I had, which is why I'm so excited to have you on this podcast to share, because I know how much you helped me personally.
So much.
Yeah. And I remember even when we went to the community center, Bayside, I hadn't even, and that was the neighborhood next to mine at the time, but I don't think I ever looked at a community center in the way that you look at yours. So I thought we could just talk a little bit about, I know we've talked about it a little bit on this, but I mean, I think everyone could also go to the community center too in their neighborhood if they have one, because it's a really good wealth of people and information that I don't think a lot of people realize.
Yeah. I feel like God put us in a spot where we're going to make changes. I don't know. For a reason, we met each other. I remember the first time when I met you, I thought, what is this lady doing over here? She's not from this community. And she has that heart to help our community, And that made me feel like, wow, that I admire you because you don't live here in this community and you make time to come and help us. To me, that means a lot to me. And that made me, continue doing this beautiful work.
For someone that maybe doesn't have a network right now, and they might be isolated, or maybe they don't have the most positive people in their life, what would you recommend to them to be able to expand their network and to get to know other people?
I know that a lot of people don't have access to computer or they don't know how to do it. I recommend them to, when they go to church, that's a good place to ask for help because the community is there. Ask for their support, coming over and let's do something to make changes. Don't have to do cleaning, but other things like ask for help. And when they are at church, when they are in kids' school, that's another place they can spread the word.
So throughout all of this, what do you think's been the hardest thing for you in regards to like when you're doing the thing, whatever the thing may be?
Well, when I see like somebody going through something really bad and I it's not on my hands to help. Sometimes I feel like my hands are tied when you want to help somebody and you cannot do it. That's really something like can hurt me.
Yeah, it's hard when you are like wanting to help, but then don't have control over the other side. And then in terms of the cleanup event, what do you think's been the hardest thing with keeping that going or getting it started?
Try to convince people like doing this for our planet, doing this for the future of our kids. Try to convince people like this is important. Like immigrants, we come to this country sometimes we don't have that culture back home. And I told them, this country is for volunteers. This is going to benefit you in the future, when you need a recommendation letter from somebody. That's really hard, to convince people the importance of being volunteer. I think that's something really hard for me, convince people.
You've obviously done a good job with it too, though. Is there something you've done to do that's really worked, that's you've seen where you've been able to get someone to see how important it is and then they've actually done it?
Yeah, this lady who lives here in this community 4 years ago, I was telling her, she was in the process of getting her residence, and I was telling her the importance of being volunteer, And then after 3 years later, she came to me and said, "Oh my God, you was right. Now I need proof, letters from the community. And I don't have anything to prove I am a good resident, And you're right. You told me before and I didn't listen to you." I said, "See, but it's never too late,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. There's this concept that I've been really kind of living with lately is just this concept of beginning again. At any moment, no matter what we're going through, we can begin again. And I think we can do that with this too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I always tell people, the importance of be volunteer, to give a little bit of your time, to somebody, to help a senior, to help, the community, to come to clean the street, come to help us distributing food or whatever, 20, 30 minutes. You don't have to stay for hours. I always tell them 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can make the difference. A lot of people, when they hear me say that, "Okay, I'm going to do it. You're going to see me next month." I said, "Okay."
And what would be your advice? Because this podcast is international. So what would be your advice to people that won't be able to come to the cleanup event, but they want to do something in their own community? What would be something you would tell them?
Well, to try to find something that they really are passionate and do it. There's a lot of things they can do, but always has to be something you really love to do it. That way you're going to do it with much love if it's something that you really like.
And so once they find something they really like and they decide they want to do that, what do you think would be a good next step for them?
Organize people. Organize their friends, their family, their community.
And then after they've organized their community and their family and friends, what do you think's a good step next?
To do it.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
And what if they're scared about are people going to show up? Or what if I don't do something perfect? Or is this too much work? What do you say to that?
Don't be scared. You don't lose anything to try. Don't be afraid to try. Maybe the first time is not going to be that success, but maybe the second time is going to be better. The third time, we have to think positive, because if you think negative, that's what you're going to bring.
And how can people find you, either online or at the community event?
On Facebook, we have a page on Facebook, Bayside Facebook.
And so if they want to learn more about you and what you're doing, they can go to Bayside Community Facebook page?
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect. I'll put a link to that in the show notes too.
And you know what works too? To incentive your group. Once in a while, I go to the businesses around Linda Vista, and I ask for their support. And the people are really nice. They always contribute to my group, and they always donate things. And what I do is like a raffle by the end of the cleanup. We do a raffle and we give it away, whatever we got from the businesses around. And that, I feel like that really motivate people to come more to the community cleanup.
So I want to talk about that for a minute, because I don't think that is also something that people would think about doing or maybe they'd have the idea, but not actually do it. So when you go to the businesses and you ask for their help, what does that look like? So it starts with that idea of like, oh, maybe I'll go to the businesses. And then what do you do?
And I told them who I am, that I'm part of this group and we are cleaning the street. Most of this trash is from their businesses. We told them we're cleaning the trash, we picking up the trash. Comes from around here, and can you support that? Sometimes they say, oh, we need to talk to the owner or we need to talk to the boss, and they always say yes or no, but it's okay. We continue doing it, at least once a year or every 2 years. We have some owners, like they are willing to help us. Every time we ask for support, they always say yes. And they love the idea to have somebody to clean the streets, because they feel like when we have a clean community, that's going to bring more people to our community to want to come here, because it's nice and it's a clean community and people are friendly too. So
yeah. So when you're literally going door to door, like business to business, and talking to them. And is it just like a cold call? You're just approaching them completely cold? I mean, obviously the ones that know you, you've been there, they know who you are. But like if you haven't been to a business, you're just like, oh, hey, this is what we're doing kind of thing.
Yeah. And they said, oh, yeah, we have seen you cleaning with some people. Thank you for doing that. And yes, some of them say, yes, I'm here. Like this salon, they do a haircut. They donate like 10 haircuts.
Wow.
15 haircuts. Yeah, like they skateboard gave us some free passes and we raffled all that. So, the people happy, at least to get a one free haircut. That's going to save them money.
Do you know any stats of the number of businesses you go to and then the number of people that will give? Is it a lot, or do most people?
Let's see. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 businesses.
Out of how many?
Not that many.
Yeah, so 7 businesses out of how many that you go to? I'm just curious.
Well, we go to like 7 businesses, but really who we get support is like about 5 of them.
Got
5 out of 7.
Got
yeah.
it. Okay, that's good. Well, good.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being able to take the time and talk to the listeners about how you do the thing. And I'm just really hoping this has inspired someone, whether they, live in San Diego and they want to come to the event that you have every month, or they're in their own city or community and they want to start their own thing, whether it be a cleanup event or, something else that can make a difference. I just thank you. I think by you being able to share this, it's done a lot, and I'm excited to see who's going to do the thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing for my community. Even you don't live here, but that's what motivates me, continue doing this beautiful job, because to see people like you, like other people that they don't live here, but they care about my community, And I really admire people like you.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thanks, Tomasa.
When I grew up, I want to be like you.
I want to be like you. Oh, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Do the Thing podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, but even more, we hope you'll be inspired to do the thing. Do you have a burning question on doing the thing that you'd like answered? How about an inspiring do the thing story of your own that you'd like to share? We'd love to hear all about it. Just leave us a voice message at dothething.callcast.co or email us at hello@dothethingpodcast.com.